And welcome guys to another episode of the Fall series. Today we are going to focus on the round number 5 or step 5 as it is called here on BGA. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start. So first let's do the my cat wants to be with me. So first let's start with the draw. So it's 87. Let's go back and same number of players. So no one has withdrawn from the tournament. Let's hope that today we have more completed sets. So let's start with number 12. Player 12 is currently El Wiwi. So El Wiwi, he has already finished his round 6. Still, we said we were going to focus on round 5. So let's go ahead and open it right here. And it's going to be talking about El Wiwi. He just went offline. So Wiwi is going to be our featured player, and he's going to be playing World Gaze. So it is a Polish player, no, a Singaporean player against a French player. And World Gaze, I'm glad to see that he has been climbing the rankings so much. I remember when he was about under 200 and participated in the tournaments. See him now at over 400, something I'm happy to see that he has climbed so much. So now let's go ahead and I want to see something real quick. Okay, so let's go ahead and check his unique. See how the Martingale at dusk, roll a die. On a 4+, draw a card. On a 1-3 resupply. The reserve ability, the next card you play this afternoon costs 1 less. The mountain guide, for some reason, this one is loading with a low resolution. I haven't seen many people use the mountain guide, not even in the regular version. When he played from hand, if I'm the only character in my expedition, draw a card. Okay, not too bad for it too. You can save it up for when you are moving on mountain. Reserve ability, the next card you play this afternoon costs 1 less. Once again, virtual mana. And finally, the Ouroboros Trickster. When I leave the expedition zone, roll a die. On a 4+, draw a card. On a 1-3 resupply. When played from reserve, you may discard a card from your reserve. If you do, you may cycle a spell from the reserve to your hand. On the other hand, we have El Wiwi. I just want to check something out. Okay, so Twinkle goes to the top. The Studio's Disciple. Yeah, okay. So the Studio's Disciple, I'm most likely going to be covering it a bit. So Studio's Disciple, if you control 1 or more landmarks, resupply. The Martingale, you may put a card from sorry, the reserve ability that's played from anywhere, the reserve ability. The next spell you play this afternoon costs 1 less. Martingale, you may put a card from your hand in reserve. If you do, I gain 1 boost for each card in each player's reserve. So you activate the rare Anansi's ability. And finally, another Ouroboros Trickster. You may put a card from your hand in reserve. If you do, roll a die. On a 4+, draw a card. On a 1-3 resupply. Not bad. And you the reserve ability, you may have target character other than me lose fleeting. Also, I forgot to open up right here the chat. So give me 1 second while I go ahead and do that. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and change to the end game. Let's see. Okay, it's going to be automatic. There we go. Okay, so most likely it's going to be an opening with the... Okay, an opening with the Will-O-Wisp. a draw from World Gaze, so World Gaze most likely going to go to the companion side. No, goes all out on a draw phase. Sorry, guys. So, World Games decided to go on a option spree rather than a movement spree. So we have a double. Alwiwi does something similar, goes with for a double Opera House rather than trying to move forward. So we have no movement from either player. World Gaze has gone up to 4 cards. But Alwiwi has the option of using the Opera House to draw a lot, so he even gets a 3rd Opera House in the reserve. So that's a martingale that's not going to be drawn, but it can be resupplied right now. Puts a card down in reserve. Goes for the 5, so that means that he is going to draw this card right now. Twinkle Twinkle, just to put the Trickster to sleep. The Anansi once again, so just goes on the other side, changes it to Forest, and double sleep from World Gaze, so no movement today. No, yeah, World Gaze should be able to move forward today. He decides to do something different, and it is movement from Alwiwi today, using up his Versal Mana, so double advance from Alwiwi today. I think that we might see a festival win from World Gaze, because being Alwiwi 3 expeditions ahead, and I know World Gaze won this round, I'm guessing that it's going to be a festival. Okay, still nothing to be drawn right now, so it goes ahead and resupplies. We're going to have characters asleep. Okay, so I know now why he's playing it like this. So yeah, it is going to be a festival turn. There's nothing we can do right now. Nothing that he can actually get done. So he gives one character anchored, and no, nothing to do. He knows that there's nothing he can do. And just like that, World Gaze wins with the festival. Even though he didn't even make a move, he ends up winning with the festival. So that was basically it. That was a finished match that took advantage of one of the new the ways that still is viable to win. Like you can see, the festival is still a very viable way to win. So that was Alwiwi. Let's go now to number 72, and I wonder where World Gaze is number 1 in the tournament. So it doesn't surprise me that he beat the top 12, the player in the position 12. Okay, so we have Chile being featured right now. So let's go ahead and check. First, I want to see why he hasn't played his other match. It says 0. I want to see if it's because of Chile or because of Tavrar. They have started playing. Well, they do still have time. They have about a day each to finish their turn. I'm surprised that they took so long to start, because the game started okay, it's just 22 hours ago. Unfortunately, this game was abandoned. We're still going to watch it. It is a victory for Chile. We're still going to have him. Going to check his deck. And then first, of course, his opponent's deck. So this is a US player against a French player. So let's go ahead and check his deck. So Chile is still playing with a nuke deck. No uniques right here. Sorry, I did it the other way around. Yeah. I chose Chile on both. There we go. Okay, so yeah, he did choose a It looked like he was going to go for a starter deck, but no, in the end he did go for a traditional deck. So we have the Paper Herald. When played from reserve, you may put a card from your hand in reserve. If you do, you may return a spell from your reserve to your hand. When a card leaves your reserve during the afternoon, if you have 3 or more base statistics 0 characters amongst you control something. Unfortunately, I still cannot read what it says. The Snowball Commando, you may put a card from your hand in reserve. If you do, you may exhaust target card in reserve. And also when play from anywhere and play from anywhere, you may, if I'm the only character in my expedition, I gain 2 boosts. And finally, the Nuit. At dusk, if there are 9 or more base statistics 0 amongst characters you control and in reserve, draw 3 cards. And when play from anywhere, if you have 6 or more mana orb, sabotage. So this is kind of a moving into endgame territory. And also because of the drawing 3 cards, you kind of want she gives you 2. So you kind of want to have, for example, an Anansi, or if you have an Hydrocina out. It's a kind of doable. So that's why she has lots of zeros, especially to draw 3 cards with the Nuit. Okay, that was Kikma. Let's go ahead and check. We already know that Chile is playing with a Nuke, so let's go ahead and go to the end game. I'm glad that he's trying to make he's stuck to his guns, and he is trying to make Mojo a viable character, especially on Nuke. So let's go ahead and go to the end game. It is not going to be automatic, so I'm going to have to make the move in just a second. Oh, it is automatic. Okay, good. I thought it was not going to be automatic. There we go. So the Will-O-Wisp from Kikma. Just a draw from Chile. He decides to keep the Hunger in hand. And that is a double draw. Just increasing his options. So move forward from each. And the Studious Disciple is going to come down, and probably he's most likely going to get rid of one of the magical trainings. This is a spring to decides to get rid of the spring as the spring to mana to moth to spring. Sorry. Okay, so that's a spell on each side, and Mojo will be able to give him 1 more on the other side. There we go. Can move forward with the but decides to go all out with the Will-O-Wisp rather than with the nice movement, rather than giving 2 movement all. There we go. Get rid of the other magical training. The Suha is going to be interesting next turn. It's Suha, right? Yeah, Suha is going to be interesting this turn because he also has another turn of mana moths and can increase even a little bit on the other side. So this one gains 2 boosts. Puts a card down, and this one gains 2 boosts. There we go. So the Suha goes right ahead and threatens it. Plays the paint. What does the paint do? Resupply, then resupply again at noon. If 3 or more, you may give. Okay. So it is a double advance for Chile. He is now 2 expeditions ahead. The Suha gets rid of the Hydrocina, one of the biggest threats right now. A 4 reserve for Kikma. Very big reserve. Right there. Decides to give 2 because there are the 3 expeditions. Goes ahead and plays from reserve the mana moth, so not yet going all out. Just putting moths on both sides. And he gets 2 boosts. The Suha on the companion side in order to threaten that a little bit more. Goes ahead and wins 1, so Chile is still moving ahead. the second Serengar in order to advance. So double advance from Kigma, not blocking Chile. So that means that we are just one expedition. Chile is just one expedition ahead. A very good turn for Kigma to turn it around. Still not in hunger range, but this could be a good... Now he can put pressure with mods and even increase what he can do on the companion side. So I think he'd rather start with a Suha. There we go, with a resupply. Yeah, with a Suha on the companion side. Goes ahead and plays the mana mods. And going to go the 4 on the hero side. Merry Reunion once again. Merry Reunion is just a resupply, right? Okay, it gets rid of the... And just a Merry Reunion. So this is it. Chile is winning right now with a double advance. Blocked just barely with the... Dr. Frankenstein. At noon, if there are 3 or more, it gains 2 boosts. So he activated the ability of the double resupply just to have more options. There's nothing he could have done here. Chile was going to move forward, was going to place himself on the winning position, on the match point. Kigma was able to advance, so he was also in a double advance position to win next turn. But it was a hunger next turn, even though it was Chile first. Don't know if he could have used it or would have used it. Kigma still had 3 options to move forward. So I don't know if actually Chile would have done that. But in the end, he was able to win it, to make it all the way through. So even though it ran out of time, I think Chile was in a winning position to take this turn. Now let's go ahead and move on to number 11. So we are on top tables right now. So our Songo. Let's go ahead and check this one out. So our featured player is going to be our Songo against Nefer Mersteger. So Nefer is an Italian player against our Songo that is a French player. Let's go ahead and check. He's going to use the Muna deck. So Nefer is going to use the starter Muna. It seems so. Indeed, he's going to use the Muna starter. So let's go ahead and check our Songo. Our Songo is doing a Fen Festival. It looks like the top players right now, or some of the top players, are using Fen and Festival at that. Our Songo is doing the Festival at that. It has a common festival and 2 rare festivals, so kind of giving it all to try to get this thing moving. Let's go ahead and check his uniques. Ouroboros Trickster. When played from hand, you may discard a card from your reserve. If you do, roll a die. On a 4+, I gain 2 boosts. On a 1/3, I gain 1 boost. Ouroboros Encaster. When played, also the reserve ability that you may anchor a character with cost 3 or less. The Ouroboros Encaster. When played from hand, if you control 1 or more landmarks, you may return a card from your reserve to your hand. And also when played from hand, resupply, and the ability from the reserve. The next card you play this afternoon costs 1 less. We also have the... I skipped Snowman, actually. When played from hand, if I'm in water, I gain a sleep. If your hand is empty, I gain 2 boosts. Otherwise, I gain 1 boost. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do... Yeah, there's nothing I can do today because... Let me see if I move myself over here. I'm still covering that, so no. Yeah, no, not gonna do. There we go. Okay. Give me a second. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the end game. Not going to be automatic, so give me a second. It is indeed against the starter deck. And with a festival, so a starter deck against a festival, I know it doesn't have that many options in order to try to do what he wants to do. But let's see what the players try nonetheless. Okay, the Spindle Harvesters, there we go. Just a 1/1 on each side. Okay, the Spindle Harvesters is right there. It is a common one, so nothing other than just an anchored. Goes ahead all out on the hero side. So now he's going to play the Aloe Vera with the anchored in order to do another 1/1. Both cards go to reserve. This is a good option for Nefer in order to try to once again do the 1/1. Even though we know there is the festival. The festival I don't think is going to be coming out right now. Ooh, and reveals the strategy right there on their reserve. So just goes out for the Anansi in order to ensure a 1/1 advance. Uses the Daughter of Yggdrasil in order to draw a resupply. There we go. And plays a character with cost 2 or less for free with Anchor. So still more pressure on the companion side. There we go, a 1/1. There was nothing he could do against the Daughter of Yggdrasil. There we go. So mana for each side. There is a resupply. Daughter of Yggdrasil trying to block on the companion side. Just goes ahead with the Parliament of Ashes and the draw. And with the festival, going to give sleep on the other side in order to move forward once again, breaking the draw cycle, breaking the stalemate. So now our Songo is ahead 1 expedition. Can get okay, so we can get a almost ensure advance right now with the anchored character right there. No, a blocked. It is blocked, but physical training is going to give him 3 boosts. So now it seems that our Songo is going to be so well, let's say that Nefer is going to be ahead. Our Songo loses his advantage, but is able to ramp. So this could be a very good turn. If he can get an anchored character out, he can get an anchored. He needs to get a resupply. So I think this is the turn that our Songo is actually going to do it. Gets out all of his sheep in order to leap what is on the other side as well. So he just needs an anchored character, goes ahead and gets an anchored character on the other side, going to get his anchored character asleep just for good measure. And Nefer has nothing else to do, so he just needs to use the Hatter to get an anchored character. And yes, this is the turn that our Songo Festival wins. This is the end of the game because of the festival. So our Songo in the end was able to manage his resources very well in order to get the festival out and have a festival win. So that was player 11. I just wonder where place is Nefer at. Nefer was unfortunate then to play a Nefer 69. So yeah, he was unfortunate to play a top player that turn. Let's go to 75. So that would be Agent Potato. Welcome to the stream once again against Supletivo. So we have seen Supletivo, we have seen Agent Potato before. Let's go ahead and and this is an abandoned game. So let's go ahead and check their decks out nonetheless. So I know Agent Potato is a US player, I'm almost sure, and his opponent didn't even show up. Okay, so Supletivo is a Brazilian player against Agent Potato. It is a US player like I mentioned, so we're just going to check Agent Potato's deck because there was no... Supletivo didn't even get into the game. So a Salvager, you may put a card from your hand in reserve. If you do resupply, that's play from anywhere. At dusk, you may put a card from your hand in reserve if you do draw a card. When play from reserve, the next character you play from your hand this turn activates its reserve abilities as if it had been played from reserve. Ratatosker, you may put a card from... When play from reserve, you may put a card from your hand in reserve. If you do draw a card. So kind of a double draw there. The Snowman, when play from anywhere, unless I'm in water, I gain fleeting. And characters you control, also when play from anywhere, characters you control gain 1 boost. So a very aggressive Snowman right there. For the cost, you need to play it right on the end. Has the Haven in order to take advantage of the fact that you put cards in reserve. But this Snowman, of course, unless you play it in water, and you play it when it's not in water, can be a very nasty surprise for your opponent. Let me just go ahead and check that indeed a game ended with no cards being played from Supletivo. So yeah, it was because he didn't get into the game. I'm wondering if Supletivo is still in the tournament. He is. He has lost all of his games. I don't know if they're all because he didn't show up. He must have shown up last time. No, I think the game just didn't kick him out on the first round for some reason. Because it seems that he has lost. Let's see. Let's go to number 3. He lost because of time again. View game replay. Let's see if he actually got into the game. No. I don't know why it didn't kick him. Perhaps he got in the first round. But if it's not appearing to any game. Yeah, he's not appearing to any game. I don't know why. Ooh, I didn't mean to do that. If it's not if he has not appeared on any game, I don't know why. BGA has decided not to kick him out of the tournament. He should be out of the tournament by this point. But okay, nonetheless, let's go ahead and go to number 33. So number 33 is Wyvern. Also, I want to check. Am I out of? Where am I? I was 73. Yeah, I'm out of the 39 cards. Okay, so it is Wyvern, and Wyvern did win this round. So let's go ahead and check his victory out. So view game replay. We're gonna have his perspective, but first let's go ahead and see Enadisir's deck. Here we go. So Enadisir is playing. This is a French player. Enadisir is a French player, and Wyvern is a US player. So a Bazira set 4, 3 unique. There we go. So the Snowman, unless when played from hand, unless I'm in water, I gain a sleep. When played from reserve, if I'm the only character in my expedition, draw a card. Otherwise, resupply. And when played from reserve, the next when the reserve ability, the next character you play this turn loses fleeting. The Chiron, when another character joins your expedition, target character gains 1 boost. And when play from hand, if you control 2 or more boosted characters, characters you control gain 1 boost. So kind of a charge included with the Chiron itself. And the Bravos Vanguard. When play from anywhere, you may have target character other than me lose fleeting. When play from reserve, if you control 2 or more boosted characters, I gain 2 boosts. Okay, not too bad, not bad at all. The ability is the typical ability of the Bravos, except that this one only gives loses fleeting, doesn't give the boost that the Bravos Vanguard usually has. So that is an AD, sir. Let's go ahead and check now Wyvern. So Wyvern is playing a Sierra deck. Let's go ahead and see how he does. We have a Swift Jin, Scout 3. You may put a card from your reserve in your mana zone as a ready mana orb. The reserve ability also, you may exhaust target character. The reserve ability. Sorry, yes. You may exhaust target character in reserve. Scout 3, once again, you may put a card from your reserve in your mana zone as a ready mana orb. When played from reserve, if your hand is empty, you may send to reserve target character with hand +3 or less. And finally, a Swift Jin. Scout 3, you may put a card from your reserve in your mana zone as a ready mana orb. And you may augment target card in play or in reserve. So kinda what he's trying to do is ramp. So these 3 serve him as a ramp. Because of the scout ability, he can even play it in themselves. So he's just using 3 uniques for the ramp. And as he say, flying robots, because he is putting lots of robots out with the Meseki, with the Backout Bag, with the Brass Bag Dropship, even with the Brass Bag Nursery. So this is indeed an all-out Brass Bug deck. So let's go ahead and see how he does. To the end game, I think it's not going to be automatic. Let's go ahead and check it in just a second. It was not. There we go. So three cards from each side. Just goes ahead and plays it after you and has the Garvoce to go to the other side. Just gives it 1 more boost for good measure and just plays the Garvoce on the other side in order to do a double move forward. To do a 1-for-1. Probably going to sacrifice. No, he doesn't need to do sacrifice in advance right now because he can play the Nursery for 3. Get a token out and the Garvoce can give him another, yeah. So he's going to react to whatever Innate does, and unfortunately for him, it is not what he wants to see. So going to go ahead and place the Brass Bug. No, it was played on the other side. Can still move forward, but going to give, yeah, that's why I thought it was actually playing it on the other side in order to try to force. What did he sacrifice? Sorry, need to see it again. What did he sacrifice? Oh, did he have an airlet? No, he did. Did he have an airlet? How did he get an airlet? No, I need to see the game again. Sorry. Let me just go ahead and go back to first move. I need to see that airlet again. That move again, because I didn't get to see how he got out a second Brass Bug. Because the Garvoce doesn't give an airlet right away. So I don't know how he was able to get it through unless he sacrificed the nursery itself. But the nursery was there, so perhaps he did sacrifice the nursery, but the game didn't register it. Okay, so it's moving forward by itself. Yeah, so I think BGA actually bugged itself out, because I'm almost sure that he had no other permanent. So let me go ahead and check and see this turn. Yeah, he doesn't have another permanent. There's no airlet. So he sacrificed the very same nursery in order to get the brass book, but it didn't register sacrificing the nursery. Sorry, the nursery does give an airlet. Okay, I hadn't noticed that. Interesting. Okay, so that's how he did it, and that's why he had another card. Okay, so that was my bad. I didn't notice the airlet. There we go. So a 1/1 with a native actually ramping up. So that's why he played it that way. Okay, I now understand why he did it that way. There we go. A Swift Jin, probably going to get rid of it. Yeah, it doesn't need a ramp quite that much this turn. And this is a dub of 4/2 turn with just 3 mana. So a very good option right now. Blocks the occlude blocks out the reserve, but doesn't care that much. He does have options in order to increase. So 2 mana left from Wyvern. That's going to be all out on the companion side. Uses to give it 1 more boost in order to try to block. No, he is going to block. There we go. So he is able to do a 1/1, needs to use a card. In this case, Wyvern has not used any cards this turn. He didn't have, unfortunately, mana enough to do anything else, even though he actually didn't need to. So the Grems as mana. He can put out an airlet token right now with the mechanical training. That's an interesting option. Yeah, there we go. So he uses up to give an airlet, and he can actually now boom the... He can boom the... No, decides not to go that route. So he decides to boom the Suha because actually, yeah, that way he gets rid of a card before the effect of the sabotage, and can actually gets rid of 2 cards this way because the occlude was actually going away nonetheless. Only 1 card left for Wyvern, gets rid of the mechanical training, and there's no airlet, so no need to detonate it right now. Gets rid of the Mesa Kit because it's not going to be that effective. He does have the brass bug in order to do what he wants to do, so he places the bag out bag, and a very good card in reserve right there with the Ogun. Tries to block with a Serengar, places the brass bug, not going to get anything right now, goes ahead and goes to 6, but he can still turn it around this turn with a 5. So yeah, he just goes ahead and wins, ensures on the companion side. He could have just sacrificed, he could have just played nothing, decides to go all out this turn that way. Actually, he could have used the Grems. I would have used the Grems, sacrifice the bag out bag, that's not going to give him anything else, and still save the Ogun for this turn. He decides to go in a different route. So a 3/3 on each side. Ogun is not going to do anything. Sacrifices right now the landing, the dropship. So a very good turn right there from Wyvern. Needs to use it on the hero side just to try to get something else moving. 1 more boost, still not enough to block, but he can now use practically anything else. The Talarian Skater uses it on the other side. Interesting, he has already 1 on the hero. Gives the... what's it called in English? The seasoned character gives it 1 more boost. But the Sierra is actually in a very good position because he even has another brass out bug on hand. So just a token right there with a 3 boost. I think it's... What are you going to sacrifice? Yeah, the back out back, right? To get a token out, so pressure on both sides and just use the hive in order to try to finish it. No, he decides to go on another route, putting more bugs out this way. That's right. Okay, let's see if it is enough. So sacrifices obviously the dropship. The Suja is going to try to come in. It is at 7. It is at 8. It's going to go to 10 with the... But because he uses one more boost, it's going to sacrifice everything to try to block it, but it's not enough. You actually need to move forward. And with that, Wyvern with the flying robots indeed gets the ball going. And with that, Wyvern wins the game in a very fashionable way, using the Brusbug Nursery in a very interesting way, almost not depending on the hive. So that was a very good move from Wyvern. I think I'm gonna be watching his deck in order to improve my own Sierra. I think he has done some interesting things. Now let's go ahead and move on now to play number 40. So El Toffee is playing against Paunang. So Paunang is a Spanish player and El Toffee is a French player. Let's go ahead and check El Toffee out. First, let me just make sure that I did. Yes, I did move it. So unfortunately, Pau did not have enough time to finish the game. Like I mentioned, Pau is a French player. A Spanish player. And he is it is a he. So he's from Bilbao. This is Paulo. So let's go ahead and check it out. His first card. This Paulo 1. Last time I think it was a test, so that means that he has changed decks. He forfeits prices if he would have gotten. He is on rank 40, so not sure if he would have actually gotten any prizes out, but nonetheless, I just want to mention it right there. So, the Ascended Trooper, when played from reserve, if one or more of your expeditions is ascended, target character gains 1 boost, otherwise my expedition ascends. When played from anywhere, if one or more of your expeditions is ascended, draw a card and use from the reserve. Create an Aerolith token in a target player's landmarks. Also the Heimdall. When played from reserve, you may have target characters switch expedition. When played from hand, if you control one or more landmarks, create an Ordis 1/1/1 token in your other expedition, the one I am not. And the reserve ability creates an Ordis recruit in target expedition. We also have the Sajita, the Soaring Leviathan. I am gigantic. When I leave the expedition zone, if one or more of your expeditions is ascended, sabotage. There we go. And create an Aerolith token in target player's landmarks. There we go. So I'm almost sure this is a non-optimized deck. Nonetheless, that is what Paulo brought us. Now let's go ahead and see El Toffee. So El Toffee is a French player, like I mentioned. In this case, playing a Kojo version 2. Garrick, Revered Duelist. If I would gain Fleeting, I gain 1 boost instead. When played from reserve, you may discard a card from your reserve. If you do, each character you control other than me gains 1 boost. I almost didn't see the third unique, so the 3 Little Pigs. When you play from hand, if you control 1 or more landmarks, draw a card. When a character you control gains 1 or more boost, up to 1 target character gains Fleeting. Okay, so kind of a control-free Little Pigs. And the Asmodeus. When played from, does this have a reserve ability? Sorry, no it doesn't. The Asmodeus, when played from anywhere, you may put a card from your hand in reserve. If you do, roll a die. On a 4+, I gain 3 boosts. On a 1/3, I gain 1 boost. But the reserve ability, the next card you play this turn gains 1 boost. So rather than paying 6 for a 6/6/6, you can actually use him because from the cost from a hand, a 4 and ensured 666 is actually a very good card. So let's go ahead and go to the end game. There we go. It is going to be automatic. Good. First turn for Altofi, so that means that we're also going to see Buddha out. So he could actually play the Haven this turn. No, decides to go with the... Yeah, he had already won, so no need to reveal the Tellarian just yet. Gets a card down in reserve, still does the 1-for-1. So that was actually a good move on his side. Now he can use the Haven, double Haven, so probably going to get rid of the Serengar. No, gets rid of a Haven. Interesting. So let's go ahead and first use the Haven out. Yep, there we go. The Templar just for 1 to give it a 2/2/2, but still going to move forward with the Tengu. The Tengu is even a 4, so it was an ensured 1-for-1. The possible ramp option this turn with the Mighty Jin. There we go, Buddha, and a good turn in order to use it on the hero side, not going away that easy. Can move forward on that side, so he just goes for the Serengar on the other side and uses, just to block it, has to use the Jack Frost just to block it, a 1-for-1, but lots of resources being used by Pao. Going to be a ramp from Altofi. No, decides not to ramp and go for just another card in hand instead. Going to try to block the Serengar. Is it really that important to block the Serengar? Could be. Decides indeed to block the Serengar. So most likely going to play the Tiny Jin. Already blocked. The Signet for 2. The Signet for 3. So a Brusbuck and gets rid of the Haven. Just places Tellarian for 1. No, places Tellarian for the full effect. And doesn't need to do anything else. So the Tellarian goes down. Does ramp with the Tiny Jin this turn. Once again, a 1-for-1. But with lots of options from Altofi, not only on reserve, but also on hand. So kind of bleeding out Sigismund this turn. Gets rid of the Bouncer. No need to sabotage right now. The Parliament of Ashes is a very good card to have right now. Decides to go first for the Serengar. He wants to draw, wants to ensure the draw. Gets rid of the Tellarian. I don't think that hurt him that much. Ooh, wow, reserve right there. License withdrawal. Going to get rid of the Parliament of Ashes. Only 2 mana left, so uses the Serengar in order to block. No movement from Pao this turn. Just a movement from Altofi. And Altofi even draws a card, so the doesn't actually have any use right now for the Leviathan Spotter, and unfortunately that was the maximum time reached. I think Altofi had very good options in order to try to move forward. He had the Intimidation in hand that could actually get a card up to 4 back on its owner hand, so probably playing the Hunger. Doesn't get any boosts. Whatever, he just tried it. He was a giant on both sides, and he can actually control this because he still got a few mana left. Not sure if he was going to actually use a Hunger. He had cards in hand in order to try to push forward on both sides. But unfortunately, we will not see what was the conclusion of that game because it reached its natural conclusion. It didn't reach its natural conclusion. It was unfortunate we reached the time limit, and that's something that happens in tournaments as well. Let's go from 40 to 41. Interesting. So from Altofi to Duckificate. There we go. To Duckificate. Ooh, did I make a mistake last turn? Did I see the wrong one? No, I did see the right one. It was step 5. It's just that Duckificate has his... Since his name is very big, He actually takes a lot of space. So yeah, round 5 against Aritslopa. So that means that we have Singaporean player, I think it is, from to against a Spanish player. So let's go ahead and check WFK out. And Aritslopa, I know Aritslopa is a Spanish player. There we go. Against a Singaporean. Yes, I did get it right. There we go. So let's go ahead first and check Aritslopa's deck out. He's using a Nook Rin Ore. Interesting, using the Lyra Festival, so we know what the strategy is. He has the Counting Sheep, he has Requiem and Beauty Sleep in order to control or get his own characters to sleep. The Copelia that can come in as sleep because it's Arena and Orchid. Copelia can actually come from a previous turn and enter a sleep. No, but that doesn't work because when I go to reserve from your hand, yeah, this doesn't work because you will be awake next turn. So kind of just to this Copelia is just to be used as power up. Okay, so now let's go ahead and check Ducky Feet Gale. Let's go ahead and check his uniques. The Council eliminates the abilities. That's for 3/3/2. And if you control a token, draw a card that is played from anywhere. The Baba Yaga at dusk. If you control 3 or more characters, draw a card. And Silas Cryptic Warlock. If you control a token, draw a card. And the reserve ability. When another character joins your expedition, I gain 1 boost up to a max of 2. So basically, he becomes a 5/7/7 for 5. Not too bad because he even draws a card as well. And the worst case scenario, you can have him as a 4/6/6 and still draw for 5. So that's not a bad card to have either. So let's go ahead and go to the end game. It is going to be automatic this turn. Interestingly, the Ducky Feet doesn't seem to have any set 4 cards because it says Sigismund control set 3. Not sure if he made a mistake naming it. So just trying a 1/1. If you block me right here, I will even draw. Still moving forward. Doesn't block at all. Aritslopa gets a move on, but it's a double advance from Ducky Feet K. So that means that Ducky Feet is 1 expedition ahead right now. And gets the festival out right away, so kind of revealing his own strategy. I would have gotten rid of the festival right there, actually. Unless you want to keep the festival, lose another day. Yeah, he wants to use the festival, lose another day, just draw a card. So Ducky Feet K doesn't need to do anything else. It's a double advance for Ducky Feet K, but against it or this player with the amount of things that they have to control, I would not try to play the festival. But that's me. There we go, a token each. Goes all out on the hero side, pushes on the companion side and gets another Muno Merchant. So just push him forward for the 6. A Drowsy Dodo, so not going to be able to do the double advance this turn. Does draw because of the Baba Yaga. So 1/1, still 3 expeditions behind for Aritslopa. Because he moved due to Forest, gets a card down in reserve and draws a card. So each player mana's up. Let's see if he uses the council right now. So the Drowsy Dodo, the one asleep. No more things to be played. Wakes him up. Uses the sheep. And is trying, there is, however, removal. Just enough removal in order to get things moving. He's going to get rid of the... He can get rid on the last turn for the Dodo. So, Beauty Sleep just for good measure on what? On his... Not sure that was the best idea. because you actually need to have something right there. So it is a double advance from tcg, and unfortunately that was it. He tried to, Arislopa tried to set it up, but like I mentioned, you're playing an Ordis. Ordis always seem to have control in hand, and cheap control at that. So that was basically the end game. He tried to do it, but finally with this final double move forward, he just gets the ball moving and finally pushes forward to meet himself. And he was even in a good position in the resource department as well. So that was Arislopa. Let's go now to number 52. I also just want to check out, this is Charlot. Charajeu. I'm almost sure this is a French player. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. We're gonna try to have, no, this, I think this is going to be the last one. So Charajeu against Sakuragi. This was abandoned, unfortunately. So let's have Charajeu point of view here and Sakuragi's point of view here. And Sakuragi didn't even get into the game. So we're just going to move forward with this one and look, just going to check his deck out. So this was a Giga Fugace. Indeed, it was a French player, and Saragi was an American. It is a US player, sorry. So we have Medusa. You may set target character to reserve. If you do, create an early token in its controller's landmarks. Play that's played from anywhere. Play from reserve, you may immediately pass. If you do, target character in play or in reserve gains 2 boosts, and the reserve ability that can create an early token in target player's landmarks. Decoy, the playful Leviathan. I am a giant. You may immediately pass. If you do, create an early token in target player's landmarks. That is play from hand. The pass is only from hand. And Halua, the Raging Leviathan, gigantic tough 1. When play from reserve, you may immediately pass. If you do, target character gains 2 boosts and fleeting. So you can have a double Halua. With even if you played it right, you can have a double giant Halua. Interesting to have that over there, joining fates just to get perhaps the Halua anchored. Or the other Halua, so he has the double Halua. Interesting right there, just to make sure that indeed Sakuragi did not come into the tournament. So I think we're gonna have one more. Let's go to 25. That is Halvard Hunflower is playing Jack Sparrow this turn. So let's go ahead to go to Jack Sparrow. I think Jack Sparrow is a French player. Let's go ahead and check that out. Indeed, they're both French players. I think I made a mistake. Yeah, I did it the other way around. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and check Jack Sparrow. He is a Kojo Rinku. So I'm guessing he copied out Rinku's deck from the World Championship. Lyra Navigator, whenever you play her, draw a card. And when you play her from reserve, you may pay 1. If you do, up to 2 target characters each gain 2 boosts. The Aha, when played from hand, each player puts the top card from their deck in their mana zone as an exhausted mana orb. When played from reserve, put the 2 cards of your deck in your mana zone. Okay, so a very good ramping Aha. And Aja, or Aha, I call her Aha. And the next card that you play this turn gains 2 boosts. That is from the ability from reserve, and a Tain. Didn't notice that the Tain actually went all the way to the A. Or is that? I think that's how it looks. Whenever played, gains anchored, and when played the reserve ability, you may create an early token in target player's landmarks. There we go. So that is the uniques from Jack Sparrow. Let's go ahead and check Halvard. So Halvard is a control VGA Akesha deck. Let's go ahead. So you have an Orders Warden. When I leave the expedition zone, target player puts a card from their hand in reserve. And when play from hand, if my expedition is behind, you may send to reserve target character with hand cost 3 or less. The Shiva, when played from reserve, you may discard target permanent. If you don't, I gain 2 boosts. And when played from hand, if you control a character in each of your expeditions, target card with hand cost 2 or less the effect. So you can take a character away from the other side. Amarok, if I'm the only character in my expedition, you may send to reserve any number of target characters that cost of 5 or more or less. Absolute beast to have this spell right here. When another character joins my expedition, sacrifice 1 character. And when played from hand, you may discard a card from your reserve. If you do, draw a card. Okay, so let's go ahead and check Halvard's deck out. It's not going to be automatic, I think. It has been automatic a few times before, even though I said it was not. It is not this time. There we go. So just trying to push forward the Caladrius to get rid of the Buddha. And the Chiron is going to be enough in order to block it. He didn't ramp. He did want to push forward on both sides. That's why he did not ramp with the Chiron. He could have used the Chiron to ramp, but he decided to go the other way around. I would have actually gotten rid of the... Well, it was almost the same thing in this case. Because he would have been blocked on the other side either way. But a good use of the Caladrius there. Got good blocking right there, the ramp. The Jin right now going to block the Chiron in order to ensure that he doesn't ramp. And the Caladrius can just be used. Okay, so he had another Chiron out. This time he is going to block the Chiron. So there is the ramp. So Halvard not using Akesha as that much of a control, just ramping up to 5. Can draw. Oh, this is a very good turn for 4. Gets rid of 4/5. So it's going to be most likely magical training to see what he does. Yeah, magical training to see what he does. Chiron all out. He is already, and he gives it 1 boost, uses the Warden out in order to get rid of the Jin and move forward, almost ensure this turn, but he does have a Tengu to block it right there. So could have used the Warden. He was either way going to lose this one. So double advance from Jack Sparrow, a very aggressive deck right now. The control from Halford is not working on his side. I would have actually kept the Caladrius. I think that he had a Caladrius that he just decided to mana. Gets rid of the other Shiva. So this is a turn to do a double move forward. Now he has control in order to try to do it. The Raging Halua, the Giant for 5, just puts it to sleep for 2. He doesn't have way to move forward on both sides, but at least he can get rid of the Tengu at the end of the day. So the Halua both get bleeding, because its Halua does that. Doesn't get rid of it because it didn't go down to reserve because of the Halua. So I would have just used a Warden from the reserve if you were going to lose it anyway. I think he didn't notice that, so I don't think he can do anything right now. Well, he can put it to sleep, decides to go with the Baku in order to get rid of the card that he has in reserve. He can still use the Tengu. Doesn't have enough mana to put both to sleep. He's just going to draw 2 cards, and there's nothing he can do right now. The Giant is just too much. Going to get rid of the fleeting right there. No more plays, and because of the resistance, he can't actually put the Halua to sleep. Once again, everything gets fleeting, does the double advance, and that's how Jack Sparrow does move forward and gets the win for today. I think Halvard did not what Halvard wanted to do with the deck didn't quite work out, and in the end, well, that's what happens. It simply didn't work out, and he just gets he got beat pretty badly because he only did a double advance. So the control from Akesha did not work at all this day. And well, guys, with that, we're gonna call it a day. I need actually to feed my cats right now. So I'm going to be seeing you guys on Friday. Friday will be our next stream. I'm almost sure I'm going to be opening up another avenue for you to watch it. So I'm probably going to be double streaming or even triple streaming. I just need to make sure of some things before I do that. But I thank you guys nonetheless. You have been an awesome crowd. I hope that you enjoyed today's video, even for those who watch it later. It's been almost 1 hour of the stream, so thank you very much for that, and I'll see you guys next time.